Hello, my name is Kendall. Welcome back to another video. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Kendall. Today, I will be discussing the legend of the Mothman. If you do not like bugs, a little bit of a warning here. It is a half bug, half human hybrid, so it may make you a little bit uncomfortable. But now that little warning is out the way, let's begin. Mothman was initially discovered in West Virginia in the 1960s. His appearance was that of a nightmare creature. People described him as being a winged humanoid figure, part human, part moth. He was extremely tall, being 8 feet tall with glowing red eyes. There have been many stories of people reporting having seen this creature. One situation was where 5 men were digging a grave in the cemetery. And on November 12, 1966, this huge shadow went above their head. And when they looked up, they saw this creature that was the Mothman. Another instance was much more distressing though. A woman had an encounter with Mothman, and she was so traumatized from the experience, she really couldn't even describe what he looked like. When asked, all she could say was that his face was terrifying and disturbing. Unfortunately, this is not where it ended though, because after the encounter, she started having really terrorizing nightmares. I assume because of this, she became dangerously close to losing her mind. Now, the response to Mothman was nothing little, nothing small, to say the least. People were so invested that a large group of people showed up to a spot where Mothman was often sighted. They came prepared to take Mothman down, and they even came with weapons. Now, when they went to go hunt down Mothman, they actually didn't end up finding anything, but their fear and their belief was so strong that they passed it down from generation to generation. In my opinion, looking at Mothman, he is definitely an uncomfortable, undesirable sight to see for sure, but he's not something that I would necessarily look at as being extremely threatening. But he really is, and hunting him down is no simple task. It is said that one glimpse of him can cause a person to experience intense anxiety. And not only this, but it can even lead to mental anguish that can last for years and years and years on. If all that didn't sound like enough, buckle in as I get into a story about Mothman. In the 1900s, Galveston was a booming metropolis in Texas with a population of over 37,000, rivaling New York City. Gene Williams worked there for the Galveston Railway Company. He took the job after marrying his young wife, Maggie, who at the time was expecting their first child, Tom. Gene, now in charge of the freight handling, was short-handed one evening when something strange happened. While sorting through the trays in the train car, Gene noticed what looked like someone crouching behind a large crate. Cautiously, he approached the figure and saw 2 bright orbs that resembled eyes. The orbs emitted a shining red light. Before Gene could react, the figure spread arms like wings and crashed through the gangway door, disappearing into the night. Startled, Gene jumped backwards and tripped over the freight, injuring himself and causing several crates to fall on top of him. With Gene unable to work due to broken ribs, young Tom took on the role of providing for the family. Meanwhile, Gene began experiencing terrifying nightmares about the Birdman he'd seen, waking Tom with his screams every night. Tom asked his father about the nightmares, and what he told him was unsettling. Ever since he had seen Birdman, he would dream of the same thing every night. The large bird would be sitting on the fence in front of the house, looking at him through the window. When he would go outside to shoo it away, he could hear screaming and roaring in the distance. He would look out towards the ocean and see a giant wave. Every time he tried to rush his family to safety, the wave would swallow them up. Tom's father said that the dream was so vivid that he could feel the water filling his lungs and the panic in his chest. Worried about his father's mental state, Tom kept his concerns to himself until one dark night after work. As Tom attempted to unlatch the gate to their home, he heard a whistling sound. Assuming it was the wind, he proceeded to latch the gate when he heard rustling from the roof. Looking up, Tom saw a figure that resembled a man, but had large glowing eyes like an insect. Frozen in place, Tom locked eyes with the creature. The mesmerizing moment was shattered when the creature stood tall, spreading its enormous wings, and vanished into the night like a shooting star. That night, Tom had the worst nightmare of his life, with his father by his side. He dreamed that the ocean swallowed the island of Galveston, along with their home. In his dream was that same red-eyed creature that he had seen outside. It was now Tom's turn to wake up screaming. He couldn't help but wonder if the dream was some type of premonition. Was the creature half man, half bird, or moth, or whatever, trying to tell them something? An overwhelming sense of foreboding hung over him until finally the dream was revealed. On Saturday, September 8th, 19,000, a week after Gene Williams first saw the creature with red eyes in the train car, the Great Galveston Hurricane came ashore. The storm caught the Williams family along with most of the population of Galveston by surprise. Tom and his youngest brother were the only surviving members of their family. The hurricane claimed between 6,000 and 12,000 lives, with no confirmed death count. That is kind of a terrifying story because I've definitely heard that with Mothman, he tends to be a creature that can sometimes be a foreshadowing of something bad happening. That definitely hasn't been everyone's experience who has come across Mothman, but it's definitely a common legend and a common belief out there. That story had a really sad ending. But thank you so much to the person who wrote this book. It is so great how they put these stories together. That does conclude today's video though, so I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, please consider subscribing and sharing with a friend if you think that they would enjoy it. Take care of yourself, drink enough water, eat the right foods, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!